Welcome back to my G1 Transformers episode reviews. Today we're taking a look at the episode War of the Dinobots. In this episode, Megatron tricks the first three Dinobots into betraying the Autobots. But when the Autobots build two new Dinobots, it turns into an all-out Dinobot slugfest. We begin this episode with Chip Chase spotting a meteor heading straight to Earth. Yes, Chip returns in this episode. Why does Chip feel like the Wes of G1? He's kind of like this secondary human male character that only shows up once in a while. Well, Chip calls the Autobots for help. I didn't know that Optimus could make his hand glow like that. Well, it's not like when Starscream made his fist glow. This is more like sparking. But it's funny that they can both do this. I wonder what possible use this could serve. Other than for a dramatic effect. Meanwhile, the Decepticons are watching a GIF of the Dinobots, and Megatron orders Soundwave to find the Dinobots' weak spot.
Maybe I'll hit your weak point for massive damage.
Monkey Peaches.
Huh?
The password, it's Monkey Peaches.
Thanks.
So Soundwave goes to spy on the Autobots as the meteor hits the Earth.
Stay back. This meteorite may contain energies unknown even to Autobot science.
I would have thought that the meteor would have done a lot more damage than that. Or the Autobots would have tried to catch it or something. But oh well. Optimus instructs the Dinobots to guard the meteor while Wheeljack and the other Autobots go back to base to study the sample of it.
Transform!
No matter how many times I see it, it's always outrageous.
Which is ironic because I'm pretty sure they've reused this exact animation before. So, on a whim, Optimus decides that they should build two more Dinobots. Which, for one thing, is odd because in the last episode they were in, he wanted to destroy them at one point. But it's also really weird because he's just deciding to create two new lives just like that. I mean, we saw what bad parents the Autobots were before. Do you really think that adding two more newly born Dinobots will really make things better? Back with the Dinobots, we see Soundwave once again using his telepathic abilities. Just like how he used them to read Chip's mind in his debut episode, Roll For It. Now he's using his mutant ability to read the Dinobots' minds. Man, Soundwave is really some kind of Professor X type character. I wonder why we never saw him use this ability again in future versions of the character. So, using the intel that Soundwave has gathered, Megatron convinces the Dinobots to turn on the Autobots. Back at the Ark, the Autobots are working on the construction of the two new Dinobots. I love this little crane vehicle thing that Ironhide is riding on. He looks so cute on there. Although I'm surprised that they're not using Hauler or Grapple. And with all the homages and obscure references that Hasbro, Takara, and even third parties have made over the years, I'm surprised that no one has ever done anything with this. I mean, surely they could turn this thing into a weaponizer or modulator. If you ask me, the design isn't too dissimilar to Galvatron. Maybe they could take a future Galvatron figure and remold it as this Cybertronian cranebot. So Wheeljack calls Optimus, Chip, and Trailbreaker to his lab and tells them that the meteorite is unstable and could explode at any moment.
Not if I can help it.
Wait, did Trailbreaker just pull a Wonder Woman? So Optimus rushes to take care of the meteorite, and Optimus uses the same transformation footage again. And wait, how did Wheeljack and the other Autobots get outside already, and Optimus is only leaving the Ark now? While the other Autobots test out the new Dinobots, Snarl and Swoop.
Blue Streak, Sideswipe, Ironhide, Prowl.
Stop the Dinobots, if you can.
Hang on, Ironhide! I mean, hold tight! Forget it!
Did Blue Streak just try shooting Snarl in the butt? When Optimus gets to where the meteorite was, and finds that it and the Dinobots are missing, he radios back to the base. And again, we see his helmet transform. And again, I'm surprised that Takara never tried to work this into one of his masterpiece figures. especially now that we know that he did this in at least 2 episodes. So the Dinobots beat up Optimus Prime, and as Sludge and Snarl are holding him, we can see what looks like some kind of rocket pack on Sludge's back. I don't think I've ever noticed that on him before, but it does seem to be what he uses to fly, at least in this scene. When the Autobots send the 2 new Dinobots to save Optimus Prime, did you notice that Swoop grabs Snarl's arm here? Can't Snarl fly by himself? Also, why does this remind me of when Superman went flying with Lois Lane? Well, when we see them arrive, Swoop is carrying Snarl. So who knows, maybe Snarl can't fly. Or maybe his flight module isn't working in this episode.
What? New Dinobots?
Which, funnily enough, is exactly what every parent in the 80s said who just bought their kids the first 3 Dinobots and now must go out and find the other 2. It's also weird how Swoop seems to be using his robot arms and hands in this episode instead of his itty-bitty dino feet. Oh wait, I stand corrected. He does use his feet to grab Slag before Grimlock bites his wing. Aw, poor Swoop. Well, the fight starts to get pretty brutal between the Dinobots, as we see Grimlock manages to bite off a piece of poor Snarl. Wow, this is getting too violent now that they're actually starting to tear each other apart. Luckily, the fight soon ends as the meteorite finally explodes and Optimus saves Grimlock. Which leads into one of my favorite lines in this episode.
Bad Megatron!
Yes, Megatron, you've been a very bad boy. Go to your room. And the episode ends with the other Autobots arriving, Chip rolling down the hill out of control as Spike and Sparkplug chase after him, and Grimlock apologizing to Optimus Prime. This was a fun episode. I like that we finally got the other 2 Dinobots, especially Swoop, who I think is probably my favorite Dinobot. Well, at least in G1. And it was interesting seeing Megatron trying to manipulate the naive Dinobots into betraying the Autobots. What did you think of this episode? As always, let me know down in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, and do all that other fun stuff. And join me next time for what will probably be a long one, as I will be reviewing the 3-parter, The Ultimate Doom. So, see you then.